I've been sifting through the damage like an archaeologist, looking for the artifact of who I used to be. Some days I find a piece of something and I hold it in my fist and wonder if it still belongs to me. But you don't ask me to excavate my past alone. You're here beside me in the rubble and the stone. You're making me a mosaic from the shattered things, pressing every broken piece into the design. What looked like waste to me has meaning in your hands, and what I lost is finding its own life. I used to think that restoration meant I'd be the same face, same pace, same sense of who I was. But what you're doing doesn't fit inside that frame. It's something wider, something more, because you don't restore the building to its blueprint. You restore the person to their soul. You're making me a mosaic from the shattered things, pressing every broken piece into the design. What looked like waste to me has meaning in your hands, and what I lost is finding its own life. I thought restoration was a synonym for fine, for getting back to normal and forgetting the decline. But you've been showing me it's something in between, the hardest place I've been and what I've never seen. Not fine but free, not fixed but whole. You're making me a mosaic from the shattered things, pressing every broken piece into the design. What looked like waste to me has meaning in your hands, and what I lost is finding its own life. My grandmother planted things she never lived to see mature. She dug the earth with steady hands and trusted in the work. And that kind of faith, the patient and the not yet sure, is what I'm practicing beneath the murk. I'm planting things that I may not see bloom this year, but the planting is its own form of prayer. There's a kind of faith that grows when you stop demanding proof. There's a kind of peace that comes when you really release the roof and let the rain in, let the questions breathe, and trust that you are in the underneath. I've been asking for a harvest while the seeds are barely in. I've been counting on a summer in the middle of the freeze. But faith requires something more than knowing how things begin. It requires the willingness to trust the trees. And I'm learning how to be the seed beneath the ground, trusting in the season, trusting in the sun. There's a kind of faith that grows when you stop demanding proof. There's a kind of peace that comes trust. The faith of those before me is what keeps me carrying on. That waiting isn't wasted, and it isn't just I'm standing on the shoulders of the ones who waited too, and still believed and still came through. Thank you for carrying what I could not. Thank you for making a road in the rubble. Thank you for the morning after night. Thank you for staying through the hard part. The ache had a seat at my table. I came out quieter, not empty. Now the air does not scare me. Now even my wounds have a chorus. Now gratitude has a lower note. Kept in the highlight, I was kept in the highlight. I was kept in the highlight. I was kept in the highlight. The ache had a seat at my table. I came out quieter, not empty. Oh, the ache had a seat at my table. I came out quieter, not empty. I can name the grace inside the bruise. I keep checking the sky for a clue. My hands know the itch of unfinished things. Even good news has not found my door. My hope is dressed in unfinished seams. You are steady in the slow room. You are enough for the waiting. Teach me to love the interval till patience sounds like trust. If the answer arrives dressed plain, I will welcome it. I only need the light. Trust in the pause. Still you are near. Trust in the pause. Trust in the pause. Still you are near. Trust in the pause. Trust in the pause. Trust in the pause. Still you are near. Trust in the pause. I keep checking the sky for a clue. My hands know the itch of unfinished things. I make peace with the unfinished hour. I just want sit here with you. No agenda for this moment, and no list of things to cover. No report to give, no case to make, no need to sound a certain way. I just came to be in close proximity to the other side of all my noise to you today. And there's something in the quiet that's more honest than my speaking, something in the stillness that I've been out running for a while. I want the kind of closeness that doesn't need a reason. I want the kind of knowing that survives a changing season. I want to be the person that you come to find at home, not just in the crisis, in the ordinary alone. I've spent so much time seeking you in the dramatic, in the mountain peaks and burning bushes, signs and wonders rare. But lately I've been finding something more pragmatic in the simple awareness that you're always there. I want the kind of love that doesn't need a reason. I want the kind of knowing that survives a changing season. I want to be the person you come to find at home, not just in the crisis, in the ordinary alone. What would it look like to live love, not just to know it intellectually, but to feel it underneath the skin and let it change the way I move and speak and begin each new day, not running toward you out of need, but walking alongside you like a friend indeed. There was a version of last year I didn't think I'd outlast, where everything I trusted seemed to buckle and collapse. I'm not gonna minimize what that particular stretch cost, but I'm standing in a morning that I thought was already lost. And that right there is everything. That I'm here at all, that I'm still breathing. On the other side of that is where I'm standing now. I don't always understand the why or the how, but I've got evidence of something sustaining in the fire on the other side of that, and grateful to be prior. The gratitude is not the absence of the memory. I still carry what I went through, it's still part of me. But now it's context, not my ceiling, not my floor. It's something I pass through, something I endure no more. On the other side of that is where I'm standing. to rush their grief, not to fake the morning till the morning actually comes. But I wanna hold the light up just a little from this side, so they can see there is another side, and someone's there to guide. My childhood left some fingerprints on how I see myself. Some good and some I'm still unpacking from the shelf. The way I hold approval like a fragile kind of wealth says something about what I haven't faced in health. But you have seen me long before they had the chance to name me. You knew me in the making before all of this, and none of what I've carried gets to fully claim me. I belong to something older than the abyss. I've been rewriting my own story every morning, depending on the feedback from the world outside. And the instability of that kind of forming has left me searching for a place to reside. I need a name that doesn't change with the weather. I need a ground that holds when nothing else will hold. But you have seen me long before they had the chance to name me. You knew me in the making before all of this, and none of what I've carried gets to fully claim me. I belong to something older than the abyss. I'm not the sum of every hard year that I've lived. I'm not the person that their worst day made me. I'm not the silence of the gifts I never gave. I'm not the echo of the words that tried to fade me. Oh, I'm the one you stepped down from the high place for. I'm the one you called by name across the floor. You have seen me long before they had the chance to name me. You knew me in me before all this, and none of what I've carried gets to fully claim me. I belong to something older than the abyss, older than the abyss. Before the beginning, this is who I am. You call me home without raising your voice. You write my word where it cannot fade. You make me plain, still make me enough. The labels fell off in the morning steam. I wore other people's words like coats. room got small under louder voices. You call me home without raising your voice. You write my words where it cannot fade. You make me plain and still make me enough. You know the true line under my pulse. I am the echo you meant to keep. I stand here simpler than before. I have heard the softer truth now. You call me home without raising your voice. You write my worth where it cannot fade. Held in the true name known and not alone. The labels fell off in the morning steam. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. You sit like the silence trusts you. I know the day by the sound of your voice. You know my quiet before I explain it. Stay when the coffee cools and the night leans in. I do not need a stage for this. Let the world be smaller for a minute. Home in a quiet room. You are my near and my now. Home in a quiet room. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. You sit like the silence trust you. I know the day by the sound of your voice. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. You sit like the silence trusts you. I let the mask rest by the door. I stop translating every feeling. You are the reason the room feels like still present. I've been on a long search party for myself, looking in the places that felt safe to look, in the pages of the therapy and the self-help shelf, in every conversation, in the years it took. And I keep finding pieces genuine and real, but something at the center still needs to heal. You're the one who holds the whole of who I am, not just the parts that I consider good. You're the anchor in the middle of the diagram of all the things that I have been and should. Ooh, I don't believe my worth is something I can earn. I've tried that road and it runs out of air. There's a simpler truth I'm slowly learning to discern, that I belong here and you put me there. Not because I measured up or figured it all out, but because you made me, and that settles the doubt. You're the one who holds the whole of who I am, not just the parts that I consider good. You're the anchor in the middle of the diagram of all the things that I have been and should. Ooh, yeah. I don't have to become something to deserve the love. It's already here, it's already mine. Not a prize I get for being good enough, but the ground I'm standing on, the actual line. I'm not on the way to deserving this, I'm already standing in it. This is what it is.
You made your claim before my parents said my name, before my fingerprints were formed, or I had learned the game, before I had a history or a reputation. Here you had me, fully, wholly in the clear. Claim before the naming, that's a permanent kind of choice, one I didn't earn and can't negotiate with my own voice. It just is, and I am learning how to let it just be true. Claim before the naming, that's the deepest thing I know of you. Deepest thing I know of you. And when the world does what the world will inevitably do, assigns a value based on what I bring or don't bring through, I have something to return to that precedes all of that noise. A prior claim that neither fails nor just destroys. I'm holding this like something fragile and essential, the foundation or the grounding, the credential. And I don't hold it arrogantly, I hold it like a hand, offered in the dark when I don't fully understand. It steadies me enough to take the next and then the next step forward. Claim before the naming, kept in what you stored up. Claim before the naming, that's a permanent kind of chore, one I didn't earn and can't negotiate my own voice. It just is, and I am learning how to let it just be true. Oh, claim before the naming, that's the deepest thing I know of you. My favorite thing about belonging to you isn't the theology or the things I'm supposed to do. It's this particular feeling of being at home in the universe, in my own skin, less alone. That's not a small thing, that's enormous actually. To feel at home in the world is radical and free.
My favorite thing about belonging is the weight it takes away. The having to prove, the having to stay, the justify the day. It trades it for the simple fact of being held in place. My favorite thing about belonging is the space. I've belonged to lesser things, to opinions and to outcome, to the shifting ground of who I was in any given forum. And every lesser belonging had a lease that would expire, but this one doesn't lift or lower with the higher. My favorite thing about belonging is the weight it takes away. The having to prove, the having to stay, the justify the day. It trades it for the simple fact of being held in place. My favorite thing about belonging is the space. In the space I can be curious without the cost of error. I can question without exile. I can be the bearer of my own confusion without losing what I'm held by. That's freedom, and that's mine, and that's the belonging I abide by.
The flood receded, left the soil rich with lessons I could keep. Now every seed I plant feels blessed, because the trial taught me deep. Gratitude grows wild and free, like flowers after heavy rain. The storm that tried to take it all left beauty only joy can claim. And every root has found its place. I thank you for the cleansing wave. It washed the fear and cleared the space. Grows wild and
You don't always come in the spectacular or the name. Sometimes you arrive in the texture of the ordinary day, in the light that hits the table at a specific afternoon angle, in the moment of the quiet that untangles what was tangled. You show up in the texture of the everyday and small, in the kindness of a stranger in the middle of the hall.
show up in the texture, that's how you come home. I'm paying closer attention than I used to, that's the change. The same world looks a little less the same. In the conversation that went deeper than it planned, in the moment that I offered and received a hand, in the unexpected pause where something cracked me open, in the barely visible, in the honestly just spoken. I wanna be someone who notices the texture of your presence, not waiting for the highlights, but attending to the essence of the daily, of the actual, of the where I am. You're in the texture of it, that's the plan. You show up in the texture of the everyday and small, in the kindness of a stranger, in the middle of the whole, in the song that finds me unexpected and alone. You show up in the texture, that's how you come home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I came through a fire that I didn't choose to enter. Everything that wasn't real burned away from center, and I was terrified at first by what was disappearing. But now I see the burning as the clearing. What the fire kept is what was worth the keeping. The things I didn't know I needed under all the steep things. The core of it, the best of it, refined and standing clear. What the fire kept is still right here. Were not all losses, honestly. Some of what burned needed to go. I say that honestly. The excess, pretense, the weight of what was borrowed. I walk lighter now, less cluttered, less harrowed. That doesn't mean the fire wasn't hot or wasn't real. It means the things that stayed were meant to stay and meant to feel. I'm grateful not for suffering, I wanna be precise. I'm grateful for the one who walked with me right through the eyes, who said this fire will not define you or consume the whole, and kept that promise with a faithfulness that steadied my soul. Worth the keeping. Just the things I didn't know I needed under all the steep things. The core of it, the best of it, refined and standing clear. What the fire kept is still right here. I've been searching, I've been carrying names that weren't mine to wear. Labels from the ones who didn't know me well. I
holding myself small enough to fit in somewhere, but small don't feel like living. Truth to tell, something in me rises when I hear you speak. Not the version they projected onto me. You see the person underneath the performance. You call me by a name I never heard before. Not what I've done or what I failed to be. Something more honest, something more. Ooh, 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 I spent so long becoming what the room required. Said yes when I meant no, smile when I hurt. But you have never asked me to be what you desire. You take me as I am, return me to the earth. You see the person underneath the performance. You call me by a name I've never heard before. Not what I've done or what I failed to be. Something more honest, something more. Stop trying, still the one you're running after. I don't have to earn this version, I don't have to build it out of fear. Ooh, you've already named me, claimed me, told me why I'm standing here. You see the person underneath the performance. You call me by a name I've never heard before. Not what I've done or what I failed to be. Something more honest, something more. Ooh, ooh, Not yet, but I believe. I've been reading the same chapter over many times, looking for a different ending to the text. But the story hasn't changed and neither has the outline. And I'm still waiting here on what comes next. And there is something true that I am holding in the meantime, something steady that the waiting hasn't moved. Even in the waiting, I can feel your nearness. Not the thing I asked for, but the one who hears. Even when the pathway disappears from clearness, you remain, and that's the word for all my years. I've imagined all the versions of this resolution, the timelines and the ways it could unfold. But imagination isn't the same as the conclusion, and the real thing can't be predicted or controlled. So I'm releasing what I thought this had to look like, and holding on to what I know you are. Even in the waiting, I can feel your nearness. Not the thing I asked for, but the one who hears. Even when the pathway disappears from clearness, you remain, and that's the word for all my years.
not the absence of the longing, it's the presence of a trust that outlives desire. It's wanting and releasing in the same breath, and not letting the delay consume you like a fire. I've been learning this the slow and difficult way, and I am grateful for the lesson even today. I let the moment be enough. I let the quiet do the talking. I trust the warmth more than the fear. Stay when the room is only us and the lamp. Let the hours remember this kind of peace. Let this nearness be enough. Home in a quiet room, you are my near and my now. Home in a quiet room, your nearness makes the edges less sharp. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. You sit like the silence trusts you. Your nearness makes the edges less sharp. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. You are closer than the words I use. You are the soft place I return to. Your nearness makes the edges less sharp. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. My hope is dressed in unfinished scenes. Nothing blooms on command, I know. I keep checking the sky for a clue. You are shaping the no into later. You are the reason hope stays open. I only need the light that lasts. Teach me the art of staying open. If the road bends longer, I will keep pace. I only need the next honest step. You are shaping the no into later. You are the reason hope stays open. You are still you are near.
Trust in the pause.
My hope is dressed in unfinished seams. Nothing blooms on command, I know. You are shaping the no into later.
Keeps ticking, heavy hands. I trace the same unanswered doors. Yet something whispers, hold the line. A warmth that time can't ignore. I trust the way because it's you. The silence is an empty space. It's room for roots to reach down deep and find the strength that didn't chase. Ooh. The promises I can't yet see still bloom inside this quiet night. So I'll keep breathing through the pause, knowing morning owns the light. Holds the light. I trust the way because it's you.
Stay in the simplest moments. Stay when the room is only us and the lamp. Let the hours remember this kind of peace. You are the calm in my skin. You are closer than the words I use. You are my near and my now, home in a quiet room. You are my near and my now, home in a quiet room. You are my near and my now.
You know my quiet before I explain it.
Your nearness makes the edges less sharp. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. So I lean in without rehearsing. I let the moment be enough. You are the calm in my skin. You are closer than the words I use. You know my quiet before I explain it. In a quiet room.
Been collecting evidence against myself for years, building a case that I don't quite belong. Every failure is an exhibit for my fears. Every stumble is another verse of the same song. But the prosecution rests on what you say about me, and what you say has changed the argument entirely. You say, I know your name and it is good. You say, I see your frame and it is love. You say, I hold your story and I would not trade a chapter from below. But I've been living in the courtroom of my conscience, weighing every word I've said, every step I've taken. But you don't hear the case the way that I've been launching it. You're the person underneath, unshaken. The verdict that you spoke before I brought the evidence was already written in a different tense. And it asks good. I see your frame and it is love. You say, I hold your story and I would not trade a chapter. I surrender the case tonight. I lay the evidence down. I stop building arguments for why I'm not quite right. Stand in what you've already found. I am not the sum of what I failed to be. I am already someone. You named that someone. And you're already someone. You named that someone me. I am already someone. You named that someone me. I am already someone. Behind this way, the shadows try to keep me down, but something brighter pulled me through. Your gentle hand reached in the dark and showed me what I never knew. You restore the light that thought was gone, the hope that flickered weak and small. Now every corner of my heart is glowing where your mercy falls. Broken dawn is rising clear. The night no longer owns my days. I step in There's a comfort in the knowing that's not built on understanding, a warmth that doesn't require me to explain. You fill the spaces in me that I've spent years expanding, and somehow that has eased a certain kind of pain. I'm not looking for an argument tonight. I'm looking for the presence that makes everything feel right. Come closer than the words I've used to keep you at a distance. Come nearer than the doctrine and the organized language. Come through the very particular resistance I've built up, and meet me with a love that doesn't damage. I've been carrying a formality inside our conversations, like I'm speaking to a superior I've never met. But you've been asking me to drop the salutation and just talk the way I haven't yet. And that kind of closeness takes a different kind of courage than the public kind of faith that people see. Come closer than the words to keep you at a distance. Come nearer than the doctrine and the organized language. Come through the very particular resistance I've built up, and meet me with a love that doesn't vanish. I wanna know what it's like to be fully received, not in theory but in the skin and bone of actually feeling it. I wanna know what it's like to be believed by the one whose belief changes the meaning of everything. And I think you want that too, because you keep showing up in the quiet, just for me, just this. Some things you retreat when no one else would bother. That's how I know your love runs a little farther. I had been left out in the middle of my own mess. No one to blame, just the outcome of distress. The kind of season where you lose a name you wore and can't remember what you used to want before. But you found me in the discard, in the pile I made of me. Sorted through it all so carefully. Didn't take the polished parts and leave the rest behind. You wanted all of it. That's the kind of love that's hard to find. There's a quality of being chosen when you're low that goes much deeper than the compliments that flow. It settles in the bone, in the bloodstream, in the deep, like a lullaby. The frightened finally let themselves keep. But you found me in the discard, in the pile I made of me. Sorted through it all so carefully. Didn't take the polished parts and leave the rest behind. You wanted all of it. That's the kind of love that's hard to find.
lightly, not for a single day, that the God of every galaxy would look this way. Had something so specific and so small as me, and say that's mine, that's worth recovering.
I used to think that purpose was a calling I discovered, like something buried under all the ordinary days. Some version of myself that I'd eventually uncover if I searched the right direction, ran the right maze. But lately it's been simpler than a destination. It's been more like learning where I'm already from. I am not a project looking for completion. I'm a person held within an infinite regard. Not a work in progress, but a real expression of a love that hasn't found a finish or a start. And when the room grows quiet after everyone has left, and it's just me and the questions and the night, I find I'm less afraid now of what might come with depth, because you've given me a name that holds the light. I'm not running from myself the way I used to. I'm learning to come home to who I am. I'm not a project looking for completion. I'm a person held within an infinite regard. Not a work in progress, but a real expression of a love that hasn't found a finish or a start. Let me sit inside this truth a little longer. Let me let it land before I move. I am not becoming, I already am someone, standing in the middle of your proof. You said it once and didn't take it back. I belong here. That's simply that. I carried ash like it was ordinary dust. The ache had a seat at my table. I came out quieter, not empty. I hear the rescue inside the silence. I let the relief sit next to loss. I hold the scar without hating it. I see how mercy wore plain clothes. Now I know the deep end was not the end. Now the afterglow is part of me. Now I live like I've been kept in the heart like I was kept. I carried ash like it was ordinary dust. The ache had a seat at my table. I carried ash Soft keys fading light, morning light. I carry cracks from every fall. They cut like winter on my skin. But here you trace them one by one, turning scars to stories I can live in. Something stirs beneath the weight, a quiet pull I can't explain. You restore the rhythm I forgot. The steady beat that keeps me home. Every broken note you make it sing. I'm breathing easy in your hold. The empty rooms don't echo loud. Your presence fills the space I left. I feel the pieces click in place, no longer chasing what is next. And if the night tries one more time, I'll lean into this peace you've drawn. Your love restores the rhythm I forgot. A steady beat that keeps me whole. Every broken note you make it sing. I'm breathing easy in your hold. Yeah. I gave so much away to things that didn't last. Built myself around the future and the past. You found me somewhere in the middle, hollowed out, and didn't flinch. That's what this is all about. You reclaimed what I had given up for lost, called it back without explaining all the cost. I am more myself standing here than I have ever been. Reclaimed, brought back from where I'd been. The version of me I buried at my lowest. You saw something there I was too close to notice. You didn't resurrect my pride or my old ways. You resurrected something quieter, something true that stays. Now there's room inside my chest where fear used to crowd. I'm not performing healing, I'm not saying it too loud. It's just this gentle shift from who I was before, like a door that finally opens without forcing anymore. This is the kind of change you don't announce. It shows up in the everyday pronounce. You reclaimed what I had given up for lost, called it back without explaining all the cost. I am more myself standing here than I have ever been. Reclaimed, brought back
back from where I'd been. You don't force the flower, you just alter what surrounds it. And that's the way you worked in me. It still astounds me. Imperceptible until the color starts to show. That's the pace at which you let the good things grow. Gently, deadly, that's how you moved inside this space. No alarm, no urgency, just grace at its own pace. I'm the proof that softness is the most effective force. Gently, gently brought me back to course. I used to want the breakthrough, like a sudden lifting fog, but you were in the process, in the detail, in the slog. Every ordinary Tuesday you were present in the frame. Quiet restoration doesn't look the same. And I almost missed it, being too loud for what was soft. Almost let the ordinary get too easily scoffed. Gently, gently, that's how you moved inside this space. No alarm, no urgency, just grace at its own pace. I'm the proof that softness is the most effective force. Gently, gently brought me back to course. I wanna learn that patience from you, honestly, to tend to things with that kind of consistency, to trust that what is growing, though I cannot see it yet, is on its way and worth the wait. I haven't gotten there quite yet.
I know your pace, BPM 89. Structure has a particular quality to it. You begin to recognize the subtle movements in it, the way presence shifts from one register to another, like knowing family, not needing to explain to each other. I know your pace, the rhythm of how you move, not urgent, not delayed, always working toward the truth. I've been learning your patterns and your timing for a while. I know your pace, and I've been walking it with some style. I know when the answer comes in silence what it means. I know when the sense of distance is what it really seems. I know when to wait and when to step and when to hold. The knowledge that the years of walking build and it doesn't get old. And what's remarkable is that you know mine just as well. My tendencies is my avoidance is my tells. I know your pace, the rhythm of how you move, not urgent, not delayed, always working toward I'm in for a while, I know your pace, and I've been walking it with some style. This is what a long relationship provides, that's priceless. The knowing that comes only from the years of trying witness. And I wanna be someone who keeps showing up long enough to know and to be known. That's the depth I'm after.
I've known the formal version of this for a long time. The language and the practice and the form. But lately I've been moving toward a different kind of life, where the relationship itself has become the norm. Not the ritual, but the person. Not the doctrine, but the one the doctrine points me to. I wanna know you past the surface of the Sunday, past the polished prayer and the performance and the pew. I wanna meet you in the complicated Monday, in the actual texture of my actual view. And you have met me there more times than I can number. In the car, in the kitchen, in the early restless dark. You've been the conversation in the middle of my slumber, and the presence that I feel before I start. This isn't what I thought a relationship was like, with something as expensive as you are. I wanna know you past the surface of the Sunday, past the polished prayer and the performance and the pew. I wanna meet you in the complicated Monday, in the actual texture of my actual view. You know the version of me nobody photographs. You know the thoughts behind the edited ones. You know the complicated arithmetic of my life, and what I'm wrestling with beneath the sun. And still you choose this, and still you're here, and that's the thing that keeps me going. Past the surface of the Sunday, past the polished prayer, the performance and the pew. I wanna meet you in the complicated Monday, in the actual texture of my actual view.
I left things on the side of roads I swore I wouldn't leave. fiction, which is harder to believe. The version of me then was moving too fast to feel it all, and I didn't stop until I hit the wall. The wall turned out to be the most productive place, where I finally had no choice but to sit still and face all that I left behind. You've been holding on to it for me. All that I dropped, all that I broke in my hurry to be free. You didn't throw it out, you kept the important parts. All that I left, you were storing in your heart. It undoes me thinking about that level of care, that while I was reckless, you were already there, saving the substance of who I'm supposed to be. I'm walking back to it, and you're walking out to meet me. The things I recover feel redeemed, not just returned. There's something added to them, something that was earned through the leaving and the losing and the long way back. I come home with more than what I lacked. All that I left behind, you've been holding on to it for me. All that I dropped, all that I broke in my hurry to be free. You didn't throw it out, you kept the important parts. All that I left, you were storing in your heart.
I've been in this particular season longer than I planned, and every expected exit came and went without the land. I've marked the years by what I hoped for and what didn't come, and still I come again. Go figure, here I come. This is the Sunday of the long land, grace and persistence, where I show up tired but showing up. That's the insistence, where the faith is not the feeling but the showing of my face. Every Sunday of the long land, every showing up is grace. Not every act of faithfulness feels like what they describe. Sometimes it's just returning, that's the vibe. And you receive it, the tired version, the half-convinced return. You don't require the polished prayer or something I had to earn. The simple act of coming back is more than half the thing, and you have always honored that. That's the offering. I'm talking to the ones who are exactly where I am, who wonder if the waiting has a reason or a plan. I can't give you the timeline, I can't give you what I lack, but I can say I'm still here and you can still come. Sunday of the long land, the grace and persistence, where I show up tired of showing up. That's the insistence, where the faith is not the feeling, but the showing of my face. Every Sunday of the long Lent, every showing up is grace. Sunday of the long Lent, the grace and persistence, where I show up tired of showing up. That's the insistence, where the faith is not the feeling, but the showing of my face. Every Sunday of the long Lent, every showing up is grace.
Thank you for the mercy that didn't shout. Thank you for the quiet kind of rescue. Thank you for carrying what I could not. Now I can rest without bracing. Now the story keeps its dignity. Now the air does not scare me. Oh, thank you for the mercy that didn't shout. Thank you for the quiet kind of rescue. Thank you for carrying what I could not. Thank you for making a road in the rubble, kept in the heartland. I was kept in the heartland. I'm at the edge and did not fall through. The fear loosened after a long season. Thank you for the mercy that didn't shout. Thank you for the quiet kind of rescue. I'm at the edge and did not fall through.
The shattered glass reflects your face in patterns I could never plan. You gather every jagged edge and form a window once again. You restore the view I lost in pain. The landscape clear and full of grace. Now every crack lets sunlight through and lights the path I get to chase. The ruins bloom with steady light, where death once claimed the final word. Your hands create from what was lost and prove that hope is undeterred. You restore the view I in pain.
fingers carving out their path. But in the middle of the flow, I feel your peace instead of wrath. I trust the way because it's you. I trust the way because it's you. This quiet season isn't lost. It's turning every fear to wonder, and counting every tear as cost. The future still wears hidden clothes, but faith has dressed me for the day. Yeah. I'll walk these unknown roads with you until the wonder finds its way. I trust the way because it's you.
The calendar keeps turning, but the answer hasn't come. I've prayed this prayer so many different ways. I've asked for signs and sets it in the silence after some long night where all I did was count the days. I won't pretend this doesn't test me, but I won't let go of what I know is true. I'll keep my hands open in the in-between, not clench around the thing I want the most. Just there. Faith isn't just believing what I haven't seen. It's staying when the evidence is almost there. My friends have moved to places where the answers came in time. And I'm still here with questions for a bed. I wrestle with the silence like it somehow wasn't mine. But maybe this is where I'm being led. I won't pretend this doesn't cost me something real, but I still sense you in the waiting room. I'll keep my hands open in the in-between, not clench around the thing I want the most. Faith isn't just believing what I haven't seen. It's staying when the evidence is almost. There's a kind of trust that only grows in the delay, not the easy kind that has to fight to stay. I've been angry and I've cried and gone quiet for a while, but I keep coming back because I know your ways, and somehow that's enough today. I'll keep my hands open in the in-between, not clench around the thing I want the most. Faith isn't just believing what I trust it. Still here, still trust it. Still I left the season with things I didn't go in with. The kind of things you only get from living through the difficult. Compassion with some weight on it, a patience that is real. A kind of understanding I couldn't manufacture or steal. Yeah, coming back with both hands full of what the hard year gave. Yeah, not the flowers from the easy summer, gifts from the enclave. Yeah, of the in-between, the underneath, the side of things I've known. Coming back with both hands full, and I didn't know that I could grow. The people I can sit with now are the ones inside the fire. And I can sit with them without flinching from their desire. Yeah, to be heard and not consoled, to be seen, not just advised. Oh, yeah, that's a gift the trial left me that I otherwise deny. Yeah, I couldn't have been given that without the going through, which is one of those uncomfortable truths that I've come to hands full of what the hard year gave. Not the flowers from the easy summer, gifts from the enclave. Of the in-between, the underneath, the side of things I've known. Coming back with both hands full, and I didn't know that I could grow. So I lay it on the table. All of this is yours. The form things and the forming things, you opened all the doors. I come to you not empty now, but loaded with the proof that you were in the season, even when the season wasn't smooth. Yeah. I've been given more tomorrows than I ever thought I'd see. More second mornings after difficult goodbyes, and every one of them has slowly been convincing me that you're not absent in the place where patience lies. The evidence of faithfulness is older than my need, and I am standing on a mountain range of answered seeds. I've been here before, not here exactly, but in this a place of not yet, and the stretch of trusting through. And every time before I felt the ending of the mist, the morning that eventually broke through. Yeah. So why should this be different from the seasons I have known? Why should I treat this silence like a final word? I've been choosing what I'm made of in the seeds I've sown, and what I've sown is that you've always heard. Not always quickly and not always in my language, but heard and answered in a form I recognize. I've been here before, not here exactly, but in this a place of not yet, and the stretch of trusting through. And every time before I felt the ending of the mist, the morning that eventually broke through. I call back the mornings that I almost didn't make. I call back the seasons that look hopeless on the page, and I set them like a stone beside me for the sake of reminding me who got me through the previous age. You did, and you do it still. That's the testimony of my will. I know you well enough to know your voice from the noise, the way you speak in low and unremarkable tones, not announcing, just arriving like you've always been near. And something inside of me relaxes when you're here. This is not the formal faith of Sunday dress. This is the messy hair, midnight barefoot rest. Oh, a conversation at midnight, just the two of us alone. No audience, no theology to place, no appropriate tone. Just whatever's actually true in me right now tonight. Conversation at midnight. This is where we're at. I've been telling you the things I wouldn't say in daylight, the doubts I've been packaging in more acceptable bright light. And you don't recoil, you don't reach for correction. You just stay, which is the most important direction. Conversation at midnight, just the two of us alone. No audience, no theology to place, no appropriate tone. Just whatever's actually true in me right now tonight. Conversation at midnight. This is where we're at. The deepest relationship is built in this kind of space, where there's no performance and there's no saving face, where I say the actual thing and you receive the actual me. That's the relationship I want, and that's what this can be. I thought the night would be the end. I'm looking at the morning, surprised at my own presence here. I give fair warning, this is not a tidy song with all the edges polished clean.
This is the uneven thanks of someone who's been seen. After the long night passes, I'm still here to tell it. After the longest season, I survived it, you can smell it. On the morning air, the texture of the light, the way I breathe. After the long night passes, I believe. I went looking for you in the middle of the worst of it. Not sure I'd find anything or anyone to traverse it. And what I found was not the rescue I imagined in my head. It was something quieter, a hand inside the dread. And that was more than enough, that was everything in fact. Not the full deliverance, but the contact, the intact. After the long night passes, I'm still here to tell it. After the longest season, I survived it, you can smell it. On the morning air, the texture of the light, the way I breathe. After the long night passes, my believing isn't performative or borrowed from a verse. It comes from having been inside the opposite, the worst, and having something meet me there that didn't let me go. After the long night passes, that's what I know. Faith and weight at 90 BPM. It's funny how the longest stretches teach the deepest things. How the silence becomes fluent in its way. And what I couldn't hear before, the quiet starts to sing. In the early morning hours of today, I've been building something here inside the in-between. A different kind of knowing, slow and clean. I found a still place in the middle of the night, where I stop performing and I just receive. It's not the answer, but it's better than I could get by trying to escape or believe from the outside in. I used to think that waiting meant being put on hold, but now it feels more like a soil, like a seed. Something is being grown beneath a coat that wouldn't grow if everything came easy and free. I found a still place in the middle of the night, where I stop performing and I just receive. It's not the answer, but it's better than I could get by trying to escape or believe from the outside in. Not yet doesn't mean no. I've learned to hear the difference between a closed door and a slow one, between a silence and an absence. You haven't gone anywhere, you're here. inside the waiting, and so am I. And somehow that keeps me going inside the waiting, still in the waiting, still going. I spent a decade being what the season asked of me, and now I'm sitting with the question of what's left. The child inside of me has been so patient, waiting quietly for someone who'll come back from the theft. I've given rooms to voices that don't right to stay, and borrowed their opinions for so long. I almost forgot the sound of what I'd say if I were just myself inside this song. But you've been here this whole time, remembering who I was before the world rewrote the page. You're calling back the person that I started as, before the years and seasons shifted things. You're calling back the wonder and the soft beat, 'cause you're teaching me to live inside my wings. Oh, I don't have to have it all assembled to be real. I don't have to have a chapter written before I can feel the full weight of belonging in a body that is mine. The full breath of existing at the center of your design. I'm allowed to be becoming, I'm allowed to still be on the way. And you don't love the finished version, better you love the one who's showing up today. You're calling back the person that started as, before the years and seasons shifted things. You're calling back the wonder and the soft beat, 'cause you're teaching me to live inside my wing, inside my still becoming me. I already know. I've been in this room for longer than I planned, with questions that don't answer, and a timeline without land. I've tried the patience and the prayer and the surrender talk, and some days the surrendering is is harder than the wall. I won't dress this up as though it doesn't cost me, but I also won't pretend that I've been wholly lost. See, I'm in the unresolved room, and you're in it too. Not at the door, not at a distance. Actually here, actually you. I don't have the answer, but I have the company in the unresolved room, and that is something. There's a quality of waiting that develops under pressure, that can't be manufactured or obtained by any other measure. I feel it happen in the end. I don't love the process, but I trust the one who's walking me across this. I'm in the unresolved room, and you're in it too. Not at the door, not at a distance. Actually here, actually you. I don't have the answer, but I have the company in the unresolved room, and that is something. So I'll sit with what I can't yet close or clearly name, and hold the faith that you are faithful in the frame. I'm not done, I'm not defeated, I'm just in between, and in between is somewhere not no way lost. See, I'm in the unresolved room, and you're in it too. Not at the door, not at a distance. Actually here, actually you. I don't have the answer, but I have the company in the unresolved room, and that is something. The cracked cup still holds a little warmth. Your light keeps finding the cracks I hide. I came in carrying a shape that been wrong. A cracked cup still holds a little warmth. Your light keeps finding the cracks I hide. I stop hiding the tender places. I wait for the pulse to become a song, so I stop asking for a grand display. You gather the loose parts, make them sing again. You stitch the soul with patient hands. You mend me in ways no crowd could name. You teach my scars to stand without fear. Oh, cup still holds a little warmth. Your light keeps finding the cracks I hide. I came in carrying a shape that been wrong. I do not need perfect to be found. Keep singing over what I lost.
with my own mistakes. Left pieces of myself along the way. The morning found me hollow, searching for a place where something real could find me and could stay. And I don't know exactly how you move, but I feel it in the stillness when I do. You're putting back the broken parts of me, slow and careful, patient as the tide, not erasing all the cracks so I can't see, but making something beautiful inside. The photo guide remind me who I used to be, a face I barely recognize as mine. But you've been gathering the scattered things I've seen and weaving them into a different kind. And I don't know exactly what you're building, but I trust the hands that won't let go. You're putting back the broken parts of me, slow and careful, patient as the tide, not erasing all the cracks so I can't see, but making something beautiful inside. You don't rush the healing, you sit down in the dark with me. You don't need me performing, you just want me here and free. Every scar becomes a doorway, not a wall, not a wound anymore. I'm learning how to receive this, learning what my life is for. You're putting back the broken parts of me, slow and careful, patient as the tide, not erasing all the cracks so I can't see, but making something beautiful inside.
The faded photo in my hands shows smiles I thought were gone for good. You lift the color back to life with gentle strokes nobody could. You restore the joy I buried deep beneath the weight of heavier years. Now laughter rises unrehearsed and washes every hidden tear. The empty chair beside me fills with presence warmer than the sun. No longer missing what was lost, because your healing has begun. You restore the joy I buried deep. You restore the joy I buried deep. You restore the joy I buried deep. honest about the way the seasons changed me, not sugarcoating what it took or what it rearranged in me. There are things that bent in me that haven't fully straightened, and I carry that with me, but I'm not frightened, because the things that bent weren't things I needed rigid. They were walls I'd built too high, too strict, too frigid. Oh, changed and thankful, both at the same time together. These aren't contradictions, they can live side by each other. I can name the cost and still be grateful for the total. Oh, changed and thankful, and I mean it when I vocalize it. There's an openness in me where the armor used to be, and I'm not gonna call that a casualty. I think the tender spot is where the light gets in the best, and I've got tender spots now. I'll let you do the rest. Changed and thankful, both at the same time together. These aren't contradictions, they can live side by each other. I can name the cost and still be grateful for the total. Oh, changed and thankful, and I mean it when I vocalize it. Let me carry gratitude that isn't just for the easy, that's been broken open wide enough to be a witness to complexity, to hard things and still good. Changed and thankful, and I finally understood. After all the searching that I've done in other places, after all the trying to belong in other rooms, I've come back to you. Through all the faces, through the noises, through the early afternoon, and you receive me like I never left, like the return, it is the very thing you planned. Oh, this is where I find myself at the end of every turning. This is where the noise falls off and something quiet begins. Ooh, this is where I feel most fully what I've been discerning. That you are the place I keep coming back to, and it's nothing. I've explored the edges of my faith and pushed against the structure. I've brought the hard questions and demanded better answers. Oh, but you received my wrestling like a worthy conversation partner. And the
back to, and it's nothing. I'm not a passenger in this anymore. I'm someone in a real relationship with tension and with trust, who comes and goes and wrestles and returns and asks for more, and finds you large enough for all of that. And just, I don't want easy, I want true. And you are both the question and the answer. I come through.
I came out of the storm a different shape than when I entered. Some things hollowed out, some things tenderly centered. The person who walked in would not fully know this person, and that's not a tragedy, that's the conversion. Change that comes through trial is different from the easy kind. It lives in the body as much as in the mind. Not the same person, and I am glad of it. The old me didn't have the room for what this is. Something had to move for something better to come in. Not the same person, and the changing was the wind. And I'm not eulogizing what I lost, I'm not still grieving. I've moved to the next place, and I'm genuinely believing it. The life I have now is marked by what it costs to get, and I wear those marks for something that's not regret. Not the same person, and I am glad of it. The old me didn't have the room for what this is. Something had to move for something better to come in. Not the same person, and the changing was the wind. Thank you for the trial. Not saying that through gritted teeth, but with the full sincerity of someone who's been underneath and found that underneath there is a ground that doesn't give, that held me up and still does as I live. I had less and less left to prove. I left my courage in the seam of the night. There is dust on the edges of my name. I had less and less left to prove. I left my courage in the seam of the night. There is dust on the edges of my name. You bring me home through the middle of it. You turn my fracture into a door for light. You gather the loose parts, make them sing again. You still that's left to prove. I left my courage in the seam of the night. I stopped forcing the door open. I let the small mercy do its work. You bring me home through the middle of it. You turn my fracture into a door for light. Still you make me whole. Still you make me whole. There is a language for coming back that takes a while to learn. How to receive what you don't feel like you've earned. How to accept the warmth when you've been cold so long. How to let the arms of grace feel not wrong. You taught me how to re-enter the room of being loved. How to sit with it and not immediately run from it. This is the slowest beautiful thing I've had to learn. How to receive, how to stay, how to return. Every time I started to retreat back to the edge, you didn't chase, you just stood inside your pledge. Steady in a way that erodes every excuse. I couldn't justify the distance when your love was the proof. So I moved one step, then one more, then a few. And you didn't make a thing of it, you just let me through. You taught me how to re-enter the room of being loved. How to sit with it and not immediately run from it. This is the slowest beautiful thing I've had to learn. How to receive, how to stay, how to return. Oh, I'm still learning, I won't pretend that I've arrived. But I am here, and I am warm, and I survive. And the door is open, and I know the way inside. Because you let the light on every night I try. I only need your honest close. Let the heart stop racing. Stay when the coffee cools and the night leans in. You are the steadiness under my pulse. You are the quiet that never leaves. Home in a quiet room. You are my near and my now. Home in a quiet room. You are my near and my now. The room feels
Every corner lends your patience. You are the steadiness under my pulse. You are the quiet that never leaves the room. Feels warmer when you enter it. We do not need words to share the air. You are the steadiness under my pulse. You are the steadiness.
I used to need my questions answered before the morning. Lay awake negotiating with the dark. No warning that the questions might be part of what I'm being given, and not an obstacle between me and where I'm living. What if the not knowing isn't failure but formation? What if mystery is its own kind of invitation? I'm sitting with a question, not fighting, not fleeing. I'm sitting with a question, and you're sitting here with me, not explaining it away or rushing to resolution. Just sitting with a question, that's the practice in the communion. There are things I used to pray for with a deadline in my head, and when they didn't come, I thought something in me was dead. But the life was there, just growing at a pace I couldn't clock. Faith that wasn't time, it didn't run on my own stop. I'm sitting with a question, not fighting, not fleeing. I'm sitting with a question, and you're sitting here with me, not explaining it away or rushing to resolution. Just sitting with a question, that's the practice in the communion. There will be a day when I look back on this particular time and understand what I could not see inside this climb. For now I hold the mystery with something close to peace, and let the sitting with the question be a kind of release. I've been thinking about the kind of love that's not impressed by what I do or who I manage to become. The kind that was already before I spoke a word or played the drum. You love me at the root of who I am, not the balloons I grow for everyone to see. You love the seed before it ever had a plan, and that's the love that's finally setting me free. I've been trying to deserve what you've already given, moving the goalposts of what's worthy every time. And the restlessness of that has been the very thing that's driven me further from the rest that should be mine. But something in me is beginning to receive it, not from a place of having earned the right, but from the place of finally choosing to believe it and letting that belief inform my life. You love me at the root of who I am, not the balloons I grow for everyone to see. You love the seed before it ever had a plan, and that's the love that's finally setting me free. What if I just accepted this? What if I let the giving land? What if I stopped negotiating and just reached out my hand? What if I let myself be held, not as a concept but for real? I think that's where you've been inviting me, to the actual tangible feel. You love me at the root of who I am, not the blooms I grow for everyone to see. Love the seed before it ever had a plan, and that's the love that's finally setting me free. I learned the sound of a tired soul. A cracked cup still holds a little wine. Your light keeps finding the cracks I hide. I came in carrying a shape that been wrong. I let the aches be without shame. I let the quiet carry the weight. I learned the sound of tired soul. A cracked cup still holds a little one. Your light keeps finding the cracks I hide. I came in carrying a shape that been wrong. You hold the line while I relearn peace. You make a new shape out of the break. You bring me back with a chiller kind of fire. Keep working where I cannot reach, till I can stand here and meet whole. Still you make me 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 whole.
Every road I tried just circled back the same. And I was running low on what I had to give. Something in the quiet started speaking to me. Not a shout, not a thunder, just a still low peace. You're the still water in the middle of my noise, calling me back to my own voice. I didn't know how dry I'd grown until you met me right here at home. My hands had been so full of what I tried to fix. You gently pulled me back and said enough of this. Not with judgment, not with fire, just a knowing look, like a passage I had never stopped to read inside the book. You're the still water in the middle of my noise, calling me back to my own voice. I didn't know how dry I'd grown until you met me right here at home. Right here at home. You don't need me polished, you don't need me right. You just want me present in the middle of the night. And that's the part that breaks me open every single time, that you'd want me as I am, undone and somehow fine.
Embers that taught me how to breathe when oxygen felt hard to find. Now looking up the path I climbed, I see the view that changed my mind. Gratitude sits warm inside, like embers after winter fire. The trial stripped away the noise and left me with what I require. The lessons carved in quiet nights are treasures I would never trade it. I thank you for the darker days. They taught my soul how to be brave. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I've been collecting evidence of faithfulness for years, a mental archive of the moments you came through. And when the new hard thing arrives and brings its fears, I'll pull that archive out and remind myself what's true. There is a track record that belongs to you. not suggesting that you caused the difficult, or that the suffering was somehow by design. But I am standing in the evidence and careful to exalt in the way you've shown up every single time. And the thanks I offer isn't light or uninformed. It's from someone who has genuinely been stormed. And I believe you will be in the years I don't yet know, years I don't yet be there, you'll be there, years I don't yet know, still faithful, still here. I let the noise fall off my shoulders. I learned the weight of being known. I unclenched the fist around approval. I trade the costume for my own skin. My name got small under louder voices. I kept asking what was left of me. You turned my empty space into belonging. You keep me rooted in the name you know. You say I am more than the angles I got. No borrowed light can hold me now. Known and not alone. I am not the shadow I used to chase. Known and not alone. Known and not alone. Held in the true name. Held in the true name. My name got small under louder voices. 35 temp CPP. I learned where the hard light breaks. I learned my own voice in the rubble. There were nights I counted by breath alone. I let the memory sharpen into things. I can name the grace inside the bruise. Whoa. I noticed the help I almost missed. Thank you for the quiet kind of rescue. Thank you for carrying what I could not. Thank you for making a road in the rubble. I was kept in the heart. I learned where the hard light breaks. I learned my own voice in the rubble. There were nights I counted by breath alone. I learned where the hard light breaks. I learned my own voice in the rubble. Thank you for the quiet kind of rescue. Thank you for carrying what I could not.
These marks don't disappear, they just change over time. Evidence of everything that cost me and was mine. I used to try to cover them with explanations long, until you said the scars were never something wrong. You touched the place I kept turned toward the wall, and asked me what I was so afraid to call. This is my scar tissue, and it's proof that I survived. This is the story written in the skin of staying alive. You read it back to me like something worth the read. My scar tissue, my testimony, not my defeat. Not my defeat. I thought the healed version had to look like nothing happened here, but you showed me fully healed can still be marked and dear. That's the part the world won't tell you. Grace is not erasure, it's the presence that surrounds the pain with something spacious. So I'm not hiding this anymore, not tucking it away. Every line here has a story I can finally say. You were in the breaking, you were in the mend. The scar is not the ending, it's where you begin again. This is my scar tissue, and it's proof that I survived. This is the story written in the skin of staying alive. You read
I made it through, and I know I didn't do that alone. There's a way the light looks different on the other side of heart. The same old room, the same old window, different eyes. I've come through something that left a permanent regard for the way a morning breaks across the sky. I noticed things I didn't notice in the easy seasons. The small gifts that were always there, I see them now. I've come out of this with a deeper sense of wonder for the ordinary things that keep on breathing through the night. I've come out of this more soft, not pulled asunder, but open wide to what I used to take as right. My capacity for joy has been rearranged by sorrow. It's wider now, it reaches further than before. I know more tenderly the value of tomorrow, because I know more truly what it cost to get it from the floor. And that's the strange arithmetic of difficulty. It multiplies what's beautiful while teaching you the code. With a deeper sense of wonder for the ordinary things that keep on breathing through the night. I've come out of this more soft, not pulled asunder, but open wide to what I used to take as right. I wanna live from here, from this larger, wider place, from the version of myself that had to go through something real and came back with more grace. Not the careless kind of grateful, but the earned kind, the one that knows how close the dark can get before the morning finally shows. I've come out of it with a deeper sense of wonder for the ordinary things that keep on breathing through the night. I've come out of this more soft, not pulled asunder, but open wide to what I used to take as right. I remember when the table felt like just an empty surface, when the food was there but something wasn't right. And now I sit here knowing differently the purpose of the meal, the hands, the company, the light. I don't take the simple things for what they were before. I hold them with a recognition I've been missing. The ordinary has become a doorway more than just a fact. It's an invitation to keep listening. The people in my life were always there, but differently. Before the hard time, they were furniture in it. But suffering has made me see them more intentionally, and find the extraordinary standing there. And I can't unknow this. The trial left a lens that changes how I see everything it touches. I don't take the simple things for what they were before. I hold them with also gave me back the most. Not in the way I asked for, but the way that matters most. The people I held tighter, the mornings I receive, the depth of every moment that I might not have believed. I don't take the simple things for what they were before. I hold them with the recognition I've been missing. The ordinary has become a doorway, more than just a fact. It's an invitation to keep listening. Keep listening, yeah. Keep seeing, keep receiving, The wind once screamed and shook my frame, but left me standing tall and new. The trial took what I could spare and gave me strength I never knew. Gratitude lives in my stride. For every storm that passed me by, it taught my heart to bend and rise, and look the sky straight in the eye. The roots went deeper than the rain, the branches reached for higher sun. I thank you for the wildest nights. They made me who I've now become. Gratitude lives in my stride. I used to skip past the part about being wonderfully made. It felt like a platitude, too easy, too prepaid. But I've been sitting with it longer, and it's starting to land. This is not a consolation, this is the plan. You were not careless when you got to me. Not tired, not half present, fully here and free. Fearfully and fully, that's the way you made this thing. Every complexity and contradiction carried meaning. I am not an accident or an afterthought in line. Fearfully and fully, and the fully part is mine. The quirks I used to wish away, the tendencies I'd fight, the ways I think too slowly but then suddenly too bright. What if all of that was in the plan and not the flaw? What if you knew exactly
exactly what you saw, fearfully and fully. That's the way you made this thing. Every complexity and contradiction carried meaning. I am not an accident or an afterthought in life. Fearfully and fully, and the fully part is mine. Steward of this specific life, not someone else's, not a copy, not the one beside. To honor you by being holy and completely me, that's the offering, that's the worship, that's the key.
You are the reason hope stays open. You are moving in the stillness. You are near in the unfinished hour. The seed is quiet under the soil. The hallway is long when desire is awake. The answer stays just beyond the bend. Ooh, oh, I trust the quiet more than my rush. I let the stillness teach my breathing. I let the hidden work stay hidden. I let the patience have its own sound. Reason hope stays open. You are moving in the stillness. Trust in the pause. Reason hope stays open. Still you are near. You are moving in the stillness. Trust in the pause. Still you are. Trust in the pause. Ooh, trust in the pause. Yeah. Trust in the pause. The seed is quiet under the soil. The hallway is long when desire is awake. The seed is quiet under the soil. The hallway is long when desire is awake.
I'm in a chapter where I cannot read ahead, and I've exhausted all the commentary on what lies ahead. The forecast doesn't know, the council doesn't either. The only voice that calms me is the one that's getting clearer. I trust the dark because you are the dark's creator. And what you make, you also keep, and sooner or later, the thing I can't see now will become what I can hold. I trust the dark, that's a kind of brave, I'm told. It's not a passive trust. I'm not just folding my hands, I'm putting in the effort and then letting go of the plans. Doing what I can with what I have and what I see, and giving you the rest. The rest is not for me. And some nights that divide is harder than the day before, but I keep drawing the line in the same place nonetheless. And I trust the dark because you are the dark's creator, and what you make you also keep, and sooner or later the thing I can't see now will become what I can hold. I trust the dark, that's a kind of brave, I'm told. There've been prior darks that opened up to morning, prior waits that ended without permanent loss or mourning. I pull those into evidence and hold them like a case that you have been consistent. You have set the pace. Oh. There's a frequency I keep returning to, BPM 94. Structured always with a clear occasion or an organized reason, and just an instinct in the morning, settling in the evening, that draws me back to you as naturally as breathing. And the return is never wasted, it always finds me something, sometimes loud and sometimes subtle, always something. This is the frequency I keep returning to, the channel underneath the channel's always coming through. I've tried the louder and the faster and the more, but this frequency is the one I keep coming back for. Yeah. Years of this have built a groove in me, a kind of settled path, where the feet just know the way when the mind forgets the math. When I'm too tired or too scattered for the intentional, the groove itself carries me, the practiced and the essential. This is the frequency I keep returning to, the channel underneath the channel's always coming through. I've tried the louder and the faster and the more, but this frequency is the one I keep coming back for. And I think this is what the deep thing looks like after time. Not the peak experience, but the habitual climb, the ordinary devotion of the life consistently lived. The frequency turn to, and the frequency gives it. have the kind of gratitude that only hard things give you, kind that costs something to carry and to keep. It's not the light in every version that the billboards wanna show you. It's the kind that lives in places that run deep. And I am not performing this for anyone to see. This is just between the person that I am and what has carried me. You were present in the chapter I could barely finish reading. You were holding what I couldn't hold together on my own. And I'm standing on the other side, still breathing, more grateful than I've ever been, and not alone. The version of me standing here is evidence of something that wasn't just my strength or my ability to cope. There were moments when I reached for nothing and found something, something that sustained me past the outer edge of hope. You were present in the chapter I could barely finish reading. You were holding what I couldn't hold together on my own. And I am standing on the other side, still breathing, more grateful than I've ever been, and not alone. If I hadn't been through it, I wouldn't have this wider open thing I now call faith. If I hadn't gone that deep, I wouldn't know this, the kind of ground that holds through any weight. And so I thank you, not for suffering, but for being in it with me all the way, and for the person I've become because of it, and for this ordinary, extraordinary day. Faithful to the fall, BPM 93. Structure at a fail flow. When the visibility is low and you're just doing the job, without the clarity that makes the action feel worthwhile. Just showing up regardless, that's been my life for a while. I won't romanticize it, I'll just name it as it is. Faith inside the fog is its own demanding quiz. But I wanna be faithful to the fall, not just the light, not just when the vision's clear and the direction's right, but in the gray and the uncertain, in the just keep going days. Faithful to the fall, that's a different kind of praise. I think of all the ones who walked the unlit portions without proof, who held on to nothing visible and still remained aloof from the despair that says there's nothing there, that it's all there. I add my name to that lineage, I am from that heritage. The fog will lift, I don't know when, but I know that it will thin. Until then I am practicing the patience from within. And every foggy morning I get up and put my feet to it. Is an act of faith that I can't see yet, but I'll meet it. But I wanna be faithful to the fall, not just the light, not
Not just when the vision's clear and the direction's right, but in the gray and the uncertain, in the just keep going days. Faithful to the fall, that's a different kind of praise.
I don't have a tidy theology for what this is between us, but I know it's real in the way that realness can be known. In the mirror, when the breathing and the things that come between us, in the stillness of never being quite alone. Trying to define it and begun to just inhabit it, actual living space of what we are. You are the truest relationship I have, not because you're perfect and the others aren't, but because you know the whole of me and still you add your presence to my life and call it one. One is the word. You don't just tolerate this, you pursue it, you sustain it, you initiate it, and knowing that it's fundamentally changed the status of everything I thought I understood about fate. Not fate but love, not destined but desire, not chosen by default but genuinely sought. You are the truest relationship I have. Oh, not because you're perfect and the others aren't, but because you know the whole of me and still you add your presence to my life and call it one. I wanna spend whatever years I have living from the center of this knowing, not from the edges where the questions gather fast, but from the place where the love keeps going. Past the version I can see, past the future and the fear, into just this, just you, just me, in the ordinary miracle of being here. You are the true relation I have, not because you're perfect and the others aren't, but because you know the whole of me and still you add your presence to my life and call it one. Still want it, still know, still it's you. I didn't ask for this road, but here I am. And there are chapters in my story I would edit if I could. Whole seasons I remove without a thought. But you've been working in the very places that I would have shut, and making something from what I forgot. I'm starting to see the shape of what looks nothing like what I'd have drawn. You restore the years the silence swallowed. You redeem the tears I cried alone. You don't skip the parts I'm still embarrassed by. You make a home in every stone. My mother used to say that time heals everything, but she was only half of what I found. And time moves but doesn't mend it. Something else that brings the kind of healing in the ground. Not all at once, not overnight, but slowly, like the way the seasons turn. I've been rebuilt in the quiet. I've been taught what I could not learn alone. And every piece you've placed in me has found the space it needed to belong. You restore the years of silence swallowed. You redeem the tears I cried alone. You don't skip the parts I'm still embarrassed by. Missed the lesson here inside those long and shadowed miles. The storm that shook me to the bone left fertile ground beneath the trials. Gratitude now fills my lungs like air after a deep dive down. I see the beauty born from pain and wear it like a simple crown. The broken places turn to gold in ways I never could have planned. I thank you for the fire's heat. It forged the heart I understand. Gratitude now fills my lungs like air after a deep dive down. I see the beauty born from pain and wear it like a simple crown. Fills my lungs. Gratitude now fills my lungs. Yeah. Gratitude now fills my lungs. Gratitude now. You would think that what I've been through would have made me harder, more protective and less willing to receive. But the opposite has happened. I've become a softer version of myself than I could have believed. The hardness was the thing I used to shield against the cost. But soft things bend and don't break, and I'm glad that's what I've got. I came through the fire with open hands. I came through the drought, still wanting to be poured out. I came through the year that broke most of my plans with something more. Thanks I'm giving isn't easy or performed. It's the kind that comes from knowing what it costs. What it costs, what it costs, what it costs. Not the thanks of someone comfortable and warm, but someone who has genuinely been lost. That carries weight. When you've been in the kind of dark that makes you feel too late. And I came through the fire with open hand. I came through the drought, still wanting to be poured out. I came through the my plan with something more than what I said I will. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no. What do you do with a gratitude that's bigger than the words? You live it differently. You hold the people in your life like something you've heard only once, and it was everything. Sun come up and you don't scroll right past it. You breathe a little deeper and you don't move so fast. And you say, I'm here, and that's enough, and you made it last. Even the lamp seems kinda with you near. My shoulders drop when you stay a while. Let the world be smaller for a minute. Stay in the simplest moments. Stay when the room is only and loud. Home in a quiet room. You are my needed room. Home in a quiet room. You are my need, my now. Even the lamp seems kinda with you near. My shoulders drop when you stay a while. You make small things feel fully alive. The kettle hums softer when you are here. Even the lamp seems kinda with you near. My shoulders drop when you stay a while. You are the line my heart leads.
Let this nearness be enough. Stay when I have nothing to perform. I only need your honest close. You are my near and my now. You are the answer my breath keeps. You are the steadiness under my pulse. Home in a quiet room. You are my near and my now. Home in a quiet room. Even the rain feels less lonely here. Even the lamp seems kinder with you near. My shoulders drop when you stay a while. You make small things feel fully alive. I trust the warmth more than the fear. I stop decorating the truth. You are my near and my now. You are the answer my breath keeps. Even the rain feels less lonely here. Even the rain feels less lonely here. I've been called so many things in rooms that didn't fit. Wore names that others gave me and just tried to sit in it. Some were close to true and some were far from what I knew, but none of them compared to who I am to you. I'm not performing for a verdict anymore. There's something settled that I didn't have before. Who I am to you is who I actually am, not contingent on the outcome or how well the story lands. You decided before the first word of my story was read. Who I am to you lives in what you already said. The approval chase was long and took me through some strange terrain. I showed up different every room to try to stake my claim. I didn't know I'd already been claimed before I started, that the search was real, but I was never really parted. Who I am to you is who I actually am, not contingent on the outcome or how well the story lands. You decided before the first word of my story was read. Who I am to you lives in what you already said. Let me carry this into every room I enter, grounded at my core. not swayed from center. The names the world puts on me come and go like weather, but who I am to you holds everything together. The waiting room has taught me peace in ways the hurry never could. Your presence turns a pause to gift and fills the empty space for good. I trust the wait because it's you. That opens doors I couldn't force, sets my restless heart at ease. Da, 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 until the answer shows its best. I trust the way because it's you. The storm left its handwriting on the glass. I carried ash like it was ordinary dust. The ache had a seat at my table. Now the table feels wide again. Now I know the deep end was not the end. Thank you for staying through the hard part. Thank you for the breath I kept. Thank you for turning pain into witness. Thank you for not letting go. I was kept in the hard light. I was kept. The storm left its handwriting on the glass. I carried ash like it was ordinary dust. The ache had a seat at my table. So I look back and the tears are softer. I hear the rescue inside the silence.